The chat starts already. Alright, so hey guys, RabbitRoo here. A little unplanned cast from me. I caught wind of a game between Artosis and RayReign that was being played on the ladder. A bit of chatter on the Discord. I picked it up. So Artosis throwing out the gauntlet to RayReign. So RayReign is the Protoss player spawning here in the top left of Metropolis. And of course, Artosis is here in the bottom left, playing in Terran as he always does. He's playing under his name Volks in this particular game, and RayReign is using a alias Piercing Water. But I've got my overlay in place. I decided just to keep it intact and to clearly tell you who the players are. So RayReign is actually a very, very successful Starcraft 2 gamer. He's also had some success in other RTS and games in general. He's just a very, very strong gamer, but he's very, very inexperienced in terms of Broodwar specifically. So around about a year ago, possibly a little bit longer, he started to play Broodwar from scratch. He'd literally never played it before. He played for hours and hours and hours and hours on his stream, trying to climb the ranks, learn the nuances of Broodwar, learn the builds. He did get some coaching. I think he did also play in one of the CPLs. But I mean, if you had to compare the experience levels of the two players, there's absolutely no comparison. Artosis has been playing this game for 25 plus years. RayReign's been playing on off for about 2 years. So it's funny because the pretense under which RayReign started to play Broodwar was he was just doing it as a stopgap until Stormgate came out. And we all know what happened to Stormgate. So yeah, probably no mystery to any of us as to why Ray would have carried on playing Broodwar, which he is doing on the ladder from time to time. We did see a little intro there where he kind of laughed going, well, I'm so bad, there's no ways I'm going to be able to beat Artosis. And I guess that would be the expectation here, right? I don't think that someone with, less than 2 years experience playing the game, even if they've got other RTS experience, should be able to beat an S-rank Terran, but you never know, right? It is Protoss, so so let's see how it goes. We'll probably share this one on the Discords that the game was flagged on, because if I hadn't been there, I would not have known that this game even existed. So shout out to Mr. Gallons for letting everybody know. I think it's pretty good what you do for Broodwar, so thank you very much, mate. Okay, so we have done a Goon expand, which is the snow greedy opener. We don't see any range yet. It's pretty much optimized for economy. RT has got his very, very standard factory vulture expansion that he's doing. Chasing down this SCV with his probe is Ray. And his Nexus is coming up. He's making a second goon, and he started range. Okay, so he is doing the one goon pre-range opener, and we will keep an eye on if he just transitions into 3-gate observer. That is probably the most common follow-up to this opening, but let's see how we go. So Artie is having a little fight with this rangeless Dragoon, and one more shot and he'll get the Vulture. A little indecisive there from Ray, so it does take quite a few hits on this Dragoon, but pulls back. Artie has made the turn rate 10 apparently. Okay, so a little bit of a whinge there on the latency. It does make sense what they're saying. I don't know how, because Ray's in America and Artosis is in Canada, so you would expect them to have decent latency. Anyway, this is again is what I would say in a word. I think he did that just to confirm the CC. I don't think he had done it as of yet. Alright, so worker transfer, still on 1 gate, still range incoming. Expect this to be the robo. This is all normal stuff. We should see a couple of gateways. It'll now be interesting to see if there is a little bit of economic aggression from our Protoss trying to get away with taking advantage of Artosis' relatively passive style. He's not really known for just sort of responding to Protoss aggression and just moving out and punishing. He tends to kind of stick to his recipe. He's very, very strong in the mid and the late game, but there's certainly the odd timing that he misses when the Protoss players are playing non-standard, exploitative, or as he would call them, stupid strategies. Okay, so we are getting our observatory in the wall. We have gone up to 3 gates. Okay, so this is literally, so far, he's played this build textbook. So you'll go 3 gate observer, you'll go up to about 7 dragoons. Once your observer is in the Terran space and you count the number of factories and you look for the armory and all of the things, you'll then decide whether to take a 3rd or exactly how to time your 3rd base expansion. So Artie is getting an engineering bay. Looks like he's going for a upgrade centric style, but we will keep an eye on his factory count at around about the 7-minute mark, because that kind of tells you if it's going to be a 2 base push from our Terran or if he's going to play a more passive 3 base macro style. Gotta set rally points, Ray. Come on, man. I'm rooting for you here, bro. Let's do it. Alright, so we're getting our 2nd gas. This second gas before 3rd base is usually a signal that this is going to be an arbiter build. I have watched Ray stream a few times. He does like to go arbiters. I haven't seen him do Reavers, and so I don't think he will go Reaver. It's something that I don't want to say is as advanced necessarily, but his build order is not for Reavers now. He doesn't have a support bay. He's already got a 2nd gas. I'm pretty sure we'll see a fast citadel. If the next advanced building... Ooh, that's very sloppy. Good play here from Artie, getting in some vulture harassment. Great blocks from these probes, though. I don't know if that was a little bit of luck or just really goes to, but that was really nicely done. Okay, so we are on our 3rd. We are pushing out 3 goons out of our gateways, so just macroing nicely, building up, getting his probe count up. Has walled this in, so that's fine. We're just gonna have to basically keep some units here, which is positioned well. Artosis has read this and gone, well, if you're taking a quick 3rd and you're only on 3 gates, then I'm going to take a quick 3rd as well. So I think that puts him in a pretty strong position. Here is the observer. So the observer just said you got 2 factories. So the risk of you killing me is very low. I need to expand. Citadel is the next building. So this is either going to be a gateway man with Storm or Arbiter. We'll keep an eye on when the Citadel finishes, how quickly we get a concurrent Templar Archives and Stargate. We also now want to see, once Artosis has saturated his 3rd, how quickly he explodes his factory count. And what I also wanted to look for is whether he is running off of a single armory. Looks like he is not going double armory. So while he is playing, yeah, I think he's following this funky build that we're seeing from a lot of the Koreans. Quick 3rd, and then you make a lot of units and you kind of do a 1-1 timing. So let's see how the game progresses from there. Alright, so this is definitely an arbiter build. We can see our Templar Archives and our Forge and our Stargate. This is almost textbook the light fast arbiter build that Ray is doing. And Artie is doing the more modified fast 3rd factory explosion timing build. Although he's only gone up to 4 factories. Doesn't have a lot of units, you can see. He's definitely prioritized his economy. You can see that he's got a decent work count. Both players do. So it's been a pretty passive game thus far. 2 observers, I like this. I think only Motive on the pro scene is a Protoss that I see that makes a lot of observers. He has around 3 or 4 that he has in every PvT. And I do encourage Protoss players, especially if you're learning the game. In PvT, your observer is probably the most powerful unit. You can tell exactly what your Terran opponent is likely to be doing. You can gauge the expansion timings, you can gauge the move out timings. You can also gauge how you need to be expanding yourself based on the number of factories that the Terran has, based on if they have an academy and armory. There's lots of information that your observer gives you. And if you make a few more, you can kind of spot. Because if you let the Terran army get the middle of the map or get to move towards you without slowing them down or contesting the space, you can so easily lose a game, especially here where this 3rd base is relatively close to the Terran. So you really want to have as much of a heads up on the movements of your opponent as possible. So to execute this build well, you need to try and be maxing at around about 12 minutes. So we'll see where Ray's supply is then. Artosis, to hold off a max push from a Terran, would need to have around 140. He gets gateway manned, in inverted commas, quite frequently on the ladder, so I've got plenty of confidence that he'll probably have more than enough to hold off the initial push. The Arbiter is on the way. We're not researching any specific skills for the Arbiter, so it's not based on this timing. He's not going to have stasis and energy for stasis in time to try and pull off a stasis bust, which is a very optimized build from a timing point of view. A little sloppy sending a unsupervised probe, but anyway, it is what it is. Alrighty, so this is where we are. We're going to get rid of the panel. I don't really feel that it's going to give me too much information, except that this is just +1 at 11 minutes from Terran, which is now the more modern meta. It's very, very normal what's happening here in this game so far. 4th base from Ray. Got a couple of cannons placed in here. He's looking pretty snug, making a lot of Zeds. You see the supplies are equal, so the benefit that RT got from taking the early 3rd and exploding his factory count, you can see he's powering up now massively. And Ray's pretty much got Dragoons and Zealots. Arbiter is on the way. Is he getting... He's got a single forge doing upgrades. I think if you do this build, you should be going double forge, but it's not going to make a massive difference. The Protoss upgrades do not scale particularly well anyway. That being said, with the Terrans nowadays moving out on 2-1 or 1-1, they can certainly have an impact on the maths. Alright, so we've got a clump of units in the center. We're transferring some units, or some probes, should I say. Our first Arbiter's arrived, but as you can see, he's not going to have energy. I think stasis is 100, and recall is 150. He's registering Storm behind this. It's going to be a combination of Storm and Arbiter spells. You can see RD starting to move in here. A bit of a mistake from Ray to not have his 4th gas up and running, because if he's going to go Templars and Arbiters, he's going to need it. Well, I think he's wanting to do a recall. He hasn't, I haven't seen him research any spells though. He's moving out. Here we go. Arbiter has arrived. He has then left. Presumably because he thought he had stasis and doesn't? I don't know. The Goliath's trying to target down the Arbiter. Also a shuttle here in play. So just a big fight building up here in the middle of Metropolis. So RD deciding, well, if your army is out of position, I'm going to try and take down this base. And Ray deciding, well, you go do that. I'm going to head up here. Still don't have a spell for the Arbiters. Oh, let's just walk straight past here. Okay, so that wasn't Zealot tight. It's going to be annoying, but the Vultures tidied up pretty fast. And Ray actually decides to get out of there. So here we go. This is not all of Artosis' army. He's kind of split the units off, and I think as a result of that, he does have stasis research. I didn't see it in the production tab, but there, what was the plan? And the Storm as well. It's a really, really good engagement from Protoss. Zealots getting on top of the tanks. Vultures kind of only coming to reinforce a little bit after the damage is done. He's got plenty of Dragoons here. The mine placements, though, he's going to have to eat a few of those. I think not having these tanks in the initial battle really did not help Artosis too much, but he goes into a supply lead, and therefore not the best result for Protoss. I don't think that Ray made any mistakes there. I think he did take a good engagement, but but Terran responded really, really well to it. Does send in another Arbiter here to try and tidy up. RD does the scan, and I think Ray should be able to hold on to this base. He had to macro there quite intensively, so he's falling a little bit behind. He had to micro there quite intensively, so falling a little bit behind on his macro. But yeah, the game's starting to definitely pick up now. Some good action. 5th base over here. A couple of additional gateways coming in as well. You need that as Protoss as we get into mid and late game, because if Terran gets on top of your main, you need to be able to reinforce from another position on the map. It does have nice visibility here on all of these bases, but I think it's good. You can obviously use observers for that too. Still, I think he would really, really, really benefit from having this gas. This is starting to cost him more and more as this game goes on. So Artosis laying a few mines here, probably just to understand when Ray tries to take this, but he does have this mine placed here already, so I think possibly just slow down reinforcements, which is a good idea for sure. Alright, so 168 plays 165. I don't think Protoss should be able to really give Terran any grief here with pretty much Zealots, a handful of Dragoons, and 3 High Templars. Interesting, placing a lot of his units here and taking the middle of the map is Artosis. I don't know why. I mean, I'd love to know his thoughts on this. It's a singular mineral patch, so there isn't something I'm missing. I think maybe just for map control purposes? I don't know. I don't know. We have an Arbiter over here. I think he's going to do a recall. Pretty much a dying Arbiter though. Oh my god. Ugh. Yuck. It's got plenty of units to recall. And the way you can see the way they were all clumped together, that was definitely the plan. So, more Vultures than you've probably ever seen. Still hasn't taken this gas. Trying to break through this base. We are sending in an Arbiter and a couple of Dragoons. The splitting of Artosis' army is a little bit weird. Ray is not engaging here with all of his units either. Now we see a few coming through. This is a little micro fail. That's a nice storm though. Bumped up a fair number of those Vultures. And this really strange central point on the map that Artosis has chosen to take is where this fight is converging. Predominantly Vultures on the Terran side, and you can just hear the noises of the Zealots dying so fast. But where are Artosis' tanks? Like, he's got 5-6 tanks on the field. At this stage of the game, you'd expect him to have quite a few more. And this fight's actually gone really well for Ray. He's managed to force a liftoff here. Again, I still don't really understand the financial significance of this base. Perhaps the strategic significance is a different equation. But he pushes that back. Supplies, though, once again are pretty equal. Ray missing heaps of opportunities to macro and piling up huge amounts of money. Once again, this gas not being taken here. In fact, he's taken this gas. I think he's just forgotten that this base has a gas. Oops. Okay, so the observer's spotting this. I smell a drop on the main of Artosis. Not a drop, a recall on the main of Artosis. Okay, so it does eventually break through here. And this single cannon is not going to be a challenge for Protoss's, or for Terran's units to break through. However, Ray does send through some goons that are potentially going to eat a lot of mines. The Zealots to come and tank for those mine hits though. Doesn't have a storm here, and these tanks are going to have a very good time. This is a very nicely timed and placed D-matrix as well. I think potentially he's just going to sack this. He's going to counter with a recall. Can't hold or defend that. What I'm looking for and why I've gone quiet is where is his arbiter? So Ray is using some harassment. Maybe not. Maybe just, again, taking another beautiful open field fight against a very spread out Terran. Doesn't have a lot of tanks here. No Vultures tanking for them. So the Zealots are going to drag a whole stack of mines. Once again, a lot of Artie's army is still here, and it isn't sort of come back to join the main. 180 plays 121. This game is looking very good for Protoss. Does tidy up their rasp from the Zealots. Ray now trying to sort of consolidate his forces. Lots and lots of Zealots here. I feel like one more big consolidated push is pretty much gateway man, with a little bit of optical support and a bit of storm. Not too worried about using shuttles and all that kind of more advanced trickery that we see. So my prediction that we were going to see a recall was wrong. But Ray has just on an economy and a reinforcements premise taking a lot of good engagements. Looks like he's going to beat Artosis. Here we go. Gives him the respectful GG. And that's the end of that. So, well, yeah. Always a reason that Artie would have an excuse. I think in this case, I do understand what he's saying. The fourth bases are pretty far away from the third. They're hard to defend. If I could provide a critique, obviously Ray not taking this fourth gas really did slow down his ability to use gas-heavy units like Arbiters and Templars. And on Artosis' side, I think his army positioning in some spots probably wasn't what it needed to be. Did knock down this base a few times, which was good. But I think his biggest challenge was getting and holding onto a fourth base to try and keep up with the economic and reinforcement power of the Protoss. Good game. Thanks very much for the recommendations on Discord. I will be uploading this game almost immediately after I have recorded it. For those who watch me on a regular basis, I'm RabbitRoo. I predominantly cast the pro-Korean scene. I just do it for fun, just recreational casting. Every now and again I'll pick up a fun game like I have today. So yeah, if you did enjoy it, please do consider subscribing to the channel. I upload multiple times per week. And until next time, I'll see you soon. You take it easy.